Greetings, my dear viewer. You're on the channel The Price of Cheating. The channel is for those who appreciate traditional family values and condemn adultery. So be sure to subscribe to the channel. Let's get started. Tonight, I decided to invite a friend over for dinner. Over breakfast, my wife Gloria, who has been by my side for 24 years, casually dropped the news. We met at the gym, and I'll be spending quite a bit of time with him, she said with a hint of excitement in her voice. I want you to meet him. After all, we don't have any secrets between us, right? Curiosity got the better of me, and I couldn't help but ask, so, you two will be working out together? Her response was playful, yet there was an undertone to it that I didn't expect. In a way, yes, it might be quite physical. My heart started racing as I began to connect the dots. It sounds like you want to be close with this guy, I said, trying to mask the surprise in my tone. Is that right? She replied, a mischievous smile playing on her lips. Gloria took a deep breath, her expression turning serious. I've realized something important. As deeply as I love you, and I do love you, I've come to understand that I need more than just one man in my life. For 20 years, I've been a devoted wife, but lately, I've felt an emptiness gnawing at me. Then I met Matthew, and he filled that void in a way I never expected. I believe he's my soulmate. Her words hung in the air, heavy with meaning. I couldn't help but marvel at the idea. Wow, I didn't know someone could have more than one soulmate. Does that mean I've been left in the past? No, silly, she replied, her eyes softening. You were the first in my life, and you'll always be my main soulmate. The conversation left me confused, yet intrigued. Life was taking a turn I hadn't anticipated, and I felt both anxious and curious about what lay ahead. I want to be completely honest with you, and I hope you'll appreciate my candor. I invited him over for your benefit. I truly hope you'll see the same wonderful qualities in him that I do, and that a friendship might blossom between you. That way, I won't feel like I'm hiding something. But honestly, I wasn't sure how to react. I tried my best, but nothing came to mind. As far as I knew, she had never been wrong before. With a heavy heart, I slipped out of the house and headed to work, feeling the weight of uncertainty. She had that self-satisfied look on her face, as if she had unlocked the secret to a blissful life. I couldn't shake the nagging thought of whether I'd be having dinner at home that evening. The workload that day was light, allowing me time to ponder how I might disrupt her plans. By the time I returned home, the familiar aroma of a special dinner filled the air, wrapping around me like comforting arms. Gloria, hearing my arrival, called out from our bedroom, "Dinner's almost ready. I'll be down in a minute." Her voice was cheerful, but I could sense the tension simmering beneath it. Matthew's arrival was imminent, and the anticipation hung in the air. "Get him a drink and make him feel at home," Gloria called, a hint of excitement in her voice. Just as I spoke, the door swung open, and Matthew walked in, without knocking, without ringing the bell, just easily, as if he owned the place. "Hey, Mark, I'm Matthew," he announced, extending his hand, a smug smile tugging at the corner of his mouth. "I appreciate you sharing your wife with me." I let his hand hang in the air, sizing him up. He was young, fit, and undeniably handsome, but there was nothing about him that made me feel threatened. "Gloria will be down soon," I replied coolly. "She asked me to offer you a drink." "Scotch neat would be great," he replied, his confidence unwavering. So he was a man of taste. It was nice to know he appreciated a fine single malt as much as I did. It hit me. He had been here before, enjoying not just the whiskey, but possibly my wife's company as well. "Well, the bar's over there," I said, pointing to the drinks. "Help yourself, and then join me. We can get to know each other better." He didn't hesitate as he approached the bar, skillfully selected a bottle of top-notch liqueur, and poured himself a generous glass. Once he settled into the seat opposite me, I attempted to break the ice. "So Gloria mentioned you two met at the gym?" I asked, curious about what had brought him here tonight. I sank into my favorite chair, fully aware that if I hadn't claimed it first, someone else would have snapped it up without a second thought. So, did she turn on the charm right away? Or did she play coy before drawing you in? I inquired, intrigued by the flicker of confusion in his eyes. He shrugged, a slight smile playing on his lips. We met for coffee a few times, and there was an undeniable spark between us, he replied, with a hint of nostalgia in his voice. And then, well, one thing led to another. I raised an eyebrow, pleasantly surprised. When she casually mentioned inviting someone over for dinner, I expected it to be Paul. Seeing Matthew sitting across from me was a delightful twist. Paul? No way, he said, trying to mask his curiosity. I'm Matthew, he confirmed, as if that should explain everything. Maybe Paul was scared off by whatever she had planned for him. I ran into him at the doctor's last week, and he looked like he'd seen a ghost. Matthew shifted uncomfortably and took a large sip of whiskey, a flush creeping onto his cheeks. At that moment, the atmosphere changed abruptly as Gloria descended the stairs in a dazzling red dress. Her hair cascaded over her shoulders in perfect waves, and her makeup was flawless. She exuded an aura that could light up the entire room, and it was impossible not to be captivated. I see you've already met, she said, a mischievous glint in her eyes. Honestly, she looked like the cat that got the canary. Oh yes, I replied, my tone light and playful. I was just telling Matthew that I bumped into Paul at the doctor's office last week. He was whining about the social disease you gave him. I said it with such cheerfulness, as if it were the most ordinary topic in the world. What? She hissed, narrowing her eyes. What are you talking about? Who the hell is Paul? I've never given anyone anything. I smirked. Come on, you told me all about Matthew, didn't you? Surely you've shared some of your other victories as well, I teased. I was surprised to see Paul instead of Matthew today. I thought maybe the pain had scared Paul away, but let me tell you, that arrogant jerk waltzed into my home as if he owned the place. Wait, did you actually give him a key? Matthew asked, looking puzzled. Don't listen to him, she interjected, shooting me a reproachful glance. He's just messing with you. There's no Paul, no disease, and certainly no one else. Well, except for Mark. Her gaze lingered on me, a flicker of uncertainty in her eyes. But can we be sure of that? I turned to Matthew, my voice steady but edged with sharpness. Let's put this in perspective. If my devoted wife can throw away our vows and betray me with some muscle-bound fool from the gym, what makes you think she wouldn't do the same with some random guy like you? And if she hasn't already done her research around town, what's stopping her from doing it now? A cheater is a cheater, no matter how you spin it. Their reactions were priceless. Matthew's expression was a mix of disbelief and shock, while my wife's face was flushed with rage. She told me you were the one sleeping with her without protection, I continued, my tone dripping with disdain. Here's a tip. When you're with her, you might want to double up on protection. Just a thought. And now goodbye, dear. Neither of them knew that the conversation had been recorded. Now they're in for my sweet revenge. I'll send this recording not only to our kids, but also release it into the wilds of the internet, with the headline featuring the cheater's photo. This concludes the story. If you like it, then put your powerful like and subscribe to the channel.